Hi everyone, welcome to Game...
Oh. Oh no. I have to restart this.
Hi everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name's Indigo.
Oh, now it's too fast, so I don't know what I did.
Hi everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name's Indigo.
And I'm Croup.
And today we're going to be talking about Anthem, a game by BioWare and EA.
Yes, Colossus. That's the thing you're looking for. We've been GameGorgon. We'll see you guys next time. For those of you that don't know, Anthem is this game.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, basically. Anthem's set to release on February 22nd, 2019, unless you have EA Access or Origin Access, which I did not realize were two separate products.
Or you can go back to the video in which we talked about it.
Yeah, I have a bad memory. Anyways, if you have either of those two things, it releases on February 15th for you. That's when the early access starts. They recently had a beta weekend, but they didn't call it a beta weekend. They called it a demo weekend.
No, they call it specifically the VIP demo weekend.
You're right, and those words are important. He's not just being a jerk. Those words are very important. We played a lot during that demo, the two of us.
You played a lot.
I played a lot.
I played as much as I could.
I moved some things around. We wanted to give you guys an overview of what we thought of the game and what we thought of the implementation of the demo weekend as a whole. Those are going to be two separate things because our opinions on them are drastically different. So let's start with the bad stuff.
Okay.
Because I like ending on a positive note.
Okay.
Like keeping your
I
mouth
take that.
clean at the end.
It's the orbits of reviews.
Positive content is the orbits of reviews. So the first thing straight out the gate when it launched, tons of players couldn't sign in at all. And you tried to come home during lunch, so you weren't even there at the beginning.
Correct. Now, I originally was hearing the big loading issue that people were logging on and not being able to connect to servers,
Right.
which I expected like somewhat.
Yeah.
But I figured, oh, by noon, there'll be at least a little bit of clearing up and it'll
Yeah.
probably be a little bit easier. Came home to lunch, could not connect at all.
And it was the server connection issue specifically, right?
Yes, it literally would just say, sorry, I can't connect to server, and then, try back, and then of course I just mashed the enter button over and over again, and it wasn't like putting people in a queue, it was just like, if you were lucky, you would get in.
Yeah,
so mashing it was actually effective.
A valid strategy. I wrote a macro in auto hotkey to hit the enter button for me because I'm lazy.
People in FIFA were complaining that they were like in the middle of matches and like they got disconnected, so it's like they were having like
Infrastructure issues in general.
So
I mean, they were probably caused by Anthem.
because they weren't having them the day before. I went back to work.
Yep.
And then tried to log back on afterwards.
And then what happened then?
Then I was told I didn't have access to the VIP weekend, but I could try next weekend and have access.
Yeah,
to it.
because it's open for everyone.
Yes.
You were like, you had a prompt asking you to buy the game to get access
Yes,
to
which
Beta 1.
I also for you.
Yeah, right?
I went online and I saw that a ton of other people were having the exact same issues.
Yeah, because when you went onto EA.com, in your account, it said you did have access to the VIP first demo.
I had access to it, and I had friend codes that I could give out, and I even tried to use someone else's
Yeah, you tried
friend.
to use my friend code.
Yeah,
and
you
it
tried to
didn't do
use
anything.
yours and another person's, and every time I would go on, it would say, hey, you already have access. I even have a screenshot where it's literally EA account saying you have access, and then the server saying, hey, you don't have access. One of y'all lying. And then I proceeded.
Hold on, one of y'all lying got me.
Why you always lying?
Finally, after a while of getting with support, and they go, oh, 1 second. Boop, 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 boop. They're like, try it now. And I was like, because it worked, yeah.
I only had to deal with it for half a day. All of my entitlements worked correctly. I had to, like, maybe until like 3 or something, nothing worked. And then at around 3 o'clock, I was able to get in just fine most of the time, yeah. I mean, once you got into the game, there was a huge problem with the load screen.
Yes.
Spawn in like the quest hub area, there's no content there, it's just where you pick up quests and where you enter.
Whoa. Talking to the bartender is 110% content.
You walk up to your javelin, you get in and you pick a mission and you hit launch and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go. Do a mission. See a loading bar travel very slowly across your screen up until the 95% mark. and at that point it stops and does not progress ever again. And then you force quit the game and relaunch the game and try and rejoin the instance that you had been, put in by the matchmaker, and it fails again and again. And so that was like a brick wall for a lot of people. Yeah. Near the end of the beta, I didn't have any issues getting into a game. It was a really slow trudge through them slowly improving that over time.
Well, and I had that issue a couple times. Like, I would get to 95, I would exit, and I'd re-enter, and I would rejoin you guys, and it would be fine. But when I tried to do free play, it would just repeatedly do the same error, and I was like, cool, not gonna do free play then.
And when on the first day when I tried free play, I would connect, I'd be able to kill 2 things. Like, that's the amount of time that it would be stable, and then it would immediately say like, oh, hey, the mission's over. I'm like, what? I wasn't doing a mission. Some servers, mostly free play servers, I didn't experience this a lot in missions and in the dungeon that was available, but some of the free play servers were unplayably laggy.
Sure.
And I don't mean like, oh, like I'm getting a little bit, I mean like you would spawn, you'd take off and go fly somewhere for maybe 30 seconds you'd be going, and then the game would just be like, oh, hey, I super forgot to track where you were going. I'm just gonna put you back where you started. And you just zip back to where you started. That was the most insane lag ever. It was like a ping of like an hour and a half. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I think we had that issue like once, and we just immediately were like,
oh, yep. When it wasn't that cripplingly bad, it didn't exist at all. There wasn't any lag that I noticed personally. Now, if you finally got into a game and you were playing with all your friends who had all connected, and everything was going great, there were still a couple issues. One, enemies would just randomly despawn sometimes. Oh, hey, by the way, poof, I'm gone.
But after that, I didn't have any issues.
The water?
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. That to me is not a bug so much as it is like a
poor implementation.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's so jarring and disorienting, and your camera just like smashes down, and then you have to like, I feel like the sensitivity might change a little, so you overcorrect.
100% changes.
Yeah, it's crazy. The water thing needs to be fixed. They said they're gonna fix it. I don't remember seeing them saying it's gonna be fixed by launch for sure, but they did say they knew and that they agree, which is good. So there was a lot of bad. That's pretty bad. But there was also a lot of good.
Oh yeah.
There was tons of good stuff here.
I felt like flying was so well put together. Like, it felt so good to fly around and just literally just fly around. Because there was multiple times where we were onto a mission and I was like, oh, what's that? And I would just like fly down and be like, cool.
There were some people that were saying like, oh, the flying controls feel weird and stuff. And I think I had that at the beginning.
Okay.
But after like a couple hours, like actually playing the game and adjusting my sensitivities, like in the menus, I don't want to see it changed. I think it's great. It was hectic enough to be like compelling, like to have to think about it, but also not hectic enough that you literally just couldn't fly because there's too much stuff.
Sure.
Like you could make the choice to do it and not get screwed.
I thought flying was like one of the best aspects of the game.
Really? Because I thought one of the best aspects of the game was the way my character sounded.
You're like, oh, all right. Krug's around us.
You unlocked the
Storm.
What do you think of the storm?
The best. The storm just felt so good, like freezing targets to being able to, for your team to create like situations to gain combos, which combos are super important.
Combos are strong.
Like if you're just ticking away at something, you're just stop. Being able to create a combo situation and then like at the same time, not just create a combo for everyone else to get the accomplishment, but then being able to also assist yourself with like, made it really, really fun.
And the Colossus can't set up many combos, but the Colossus can detonate most combos.
Yeah.
If I was standing in the middle of something like a group that you just froze, I'd just hit melee and my screen would go white because there's so many explosions. And I'd just hear like, I'd just be like, yeah, that felt good.
It felt good for me too, because I was just like, because I'm like, as a storm, you're like far away and you kind of have like the powers of elements, right? And so it's like being far away and just seeing, like setting it up and then seeing someone just like smash down and everything just explode. You're just like, oh yeah. Going to Mass Effect. I loved the combo system that they had, but I hated being the person that set it up because it didn't feel accomplishing. And so it's the same system, but they've actually made it in such a way that it feels fun to set up.
And I think that has to do a lot with like the grandeur of it. Like, it does a lot of stuff on your screen, and it does a lot of sounds. There's like a specific like clinking sound that happens when you get a combo. There's also a lot of good stuff happening outside the game. There was, you know, the issues with the beta, the rough launch, and that we shouldn't forget about. But we should also give the devs credit for the way that they were communicating. There was like a handful of blog posts, there was a bunch of tweets, and their Reddit was just exploding with developers talking and being like, hey, we need feedback on this. If you have the opportunity, please send us feedback. There's a thread by the audio director, I don't remember his exact title, that is just looking for feedback about the audio design. How often have you seen a dev team be like, hey, audio design notes, please? That's something special. And I feel like if that kind of level of like communication and respect almost is like what I feel when people ask questions like that, when developers ask questions like that. If they keep that up, that's something new in like how to be a developer. And I want to see more of it, to be honest.
A lot of people were complaining that, so in the game you started with the Ranger, and then at level 12 you got to unlock another javelin. And you just got to unlock one, and then you played the entire demo with just those two.
One of our friends literally accidentally unlocked the wrong one.
Yeah.
The one that he didn't want to unlock. It was hilarious.
Yeah. It would be the melee character, and then you pick the Storm. And you're just like... A couple hours before the end of the VIP weekend, they opened up all 4 of the javelins.
Which was awesome.
So that you had the opportunity to play them. Like, we were lucky in the sense that we got to switch computers and try out the other person's javelin. So we at least had 3, but not everyone has that opportunity.
Sure.
I also really like the fact that next weekend, which is the open weekend, they're not only covering or like carrying over your progress, but they're also going to be adding on to the demo.
We don't know what it is yet, but I'm really excited to see, because the content that was available, which was, I think it was 2 or 3 missions and a dungeon, and then 2 free play areas, that was really fun, but it got old really fast. It still felt good. It was still challenging to an extent, even after you like maxed out your gear, the gear that was available for you to choose from. But we definitely want to see more for the next weekend.
Oh yeah, and there was a lot of aspects that we didn't get to go into. The thing that makes me nervous is that the content that we saw on the VIP weekend is the same content that they have published and produced and shown off from what feels like the beginning of Anthem.
Yeah. How's the rest of it coming?
Exactly.
Is the rest of it as well designed? Did they pick this because it's the gem and the rest of it's not really that good? That's unnerving.
2 missions and like 2 dungeons, and I was already at level 15. That
felt
too fast.
Yeah, I hope that it's ramped up a little bit from what normal is. I hope that when they fully release the game, it's slowed down maybe a little bit, or like a medium amount maybe. Unless they have days and days and days of endgame that they're going to release with, which I don't think is the case, because no developer ever does that for some reason. Making it a little bit more of a journey would be important, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're not using the amount of content as a selling point.
Yeah.
Like for Witcher and like games like that, where it's like you can literally
900 million quests and
or like
the map
6,000 hours.
And there's like other difficulty ratings. Like you can do the same dungeon on easy or normal or hard, and we had access to those 3 tiers of difficulty. And there were unique mechanics between normal and hard, because those are the 2 you tried, right?
Yeah, I've never done easy.
Excuse me, weird flex.
Well, I mean,
but we haven't seen any of the like important ones. I'd say the like really late ones,
the extra hard ones. Yeah,
I want to see what the difference is between hard and all of the rest of the higher difficulty levels, because I'm worried that some of them might just be like, we added more health. I want to see unique mechanics for each point in your progression. Like when you go from hard to the next available difficulty, add some ads, or add a phase, or add like a phase that combines 2 phases and they just happen at the same time. Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are things you can do to make something more difficult other than increase enemy health, increase enemy damage. That would be
boring.
Minimal replayability at best.
Boring.
Boring's a good way to describe it, yeah.
Now, the other thing that I know you're worried about, and I'm not as worried about, is monetization of the game.
Yep. I can't say what we haven't heard about microtransactions, because we have heard what their microtransaction model is going to look like, or what they're planning on having it look like. I'm nervous because EA is in the mix. The BioWare side of things seems to be going well. The EA part of it will always make me feel a little bit on edge until I have like hard facts. I'm excited about Anthem as a game now because I have played it, and it is enjoyable. I won't believe the microtransactions thing until I can see in front of my face what they are selling and for how much money. Exactly. Like,
they have currently said as their microtransaction is that it will be completely cosmetic.
Yes.
It will be items that you can specifically buy, most likely in the form of paints for your javelin,
Yep.
as well as textures for your javelin. Those seem to be the only two sort of...
and there are also cosmetic, like,
Oh yeah,
reworks,
like reworks of like helmets.
different helmets and arm pieces
Yes.
and leg pieces.
From what we've seen, because they gave us 100 gold or what, I don't know what kind,
I also don't know what the currency is.
Yeah,
called.
so they gave us 100 of it, and they flat out said beforehand, we're giving you this 100 so that you can play with the microtransaction system.
They set the price of everything to 25 units of currency,
Yeah.
and they flat out said, these are not the real prices,
Yeah.
this is just for the demo.
So we don't know how much each piece is going to cost, and we don't know how much real world money that's going to reflect onto. Even so, I'm okay if that's it. The other form of microtransactions, I don't necessarily call this a microtransaction, but expansions.
Yeah.
So it will be possibly additional raids, additional zones, additional like
Weapons,
gear,
additional
stuff like
suits.
that.
I would be okay with all of that, but the price to content ratio has to be correct.
Yes.
You can't charge us full price $60 for a game if you're going to give us one dungeon and a new gun.
But I think they're also looking at what Destiny did.
Yeah.
Even if you don't purchase the new expansion, there's new content that's going to be accessible for you, but you're not going to have all of it. You won't be able to do the raids. You won't be able to do like the really big stuff, but you might be able to have new zones that you're going to be able to explore and get you
back in the game so that like the people that did pay for the content have people to play with. It benefits the people who didn't pay for the content, obviously, because they can play the content.
But I'm with you. It's EA. EA is known.
Don't loot box this. If you f this up the same way you f***ed up the Star Wars,
I mean, Star Wars, FIFA, like all of the EA games that are like.
Don't do it like SimCity either. F that.
As long as EA understands that they need a big title that's going to keep them in good graces with the community, and they allow that to be this game.
If they can avoid the business issues that I think will lead to people fleeing from this game, I think it'll be a huge hit.
I think I'm less worried about the microtransactions and the monetization because the second they implement either of those two things, I'm done. As long as the game that they're dropping right now is going to be worth the full price, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm at least getting a core game that I'm going to enjoy. And if they come in later on like, we added loot box, I'm like, great, I'm out. Or if they come back and say $60 for a dungeon, then I'm out. I got my money's worth. I'm not going to put additional money in because I'm not interested in that.
You can always bail.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
What do you think? Are you worried as much as we are about the entire game? While you're down there in the comment section letting us know about all that, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and then head over to Twitter and talk to us. You can talk to me on Twitter at IndigoQT.
You can talk to me on Twitter at QueueTimes, and you can talk to all of us down at these social media things down below. The all of us is you and me and my Colossus, who has a personality. His
and
name,
my Storm.
You just made some After Effects work for me.